Experts are predicting this week's release of census findings outlining Canada's age pyramid will likely show an acceleration of a 2016 census trend, which noted that Canadian seniors were outnumbering those age 14 and younger. Doug Norris from Environics Analytics says the last census had those over the age of 65 outnumbering Canadian youth for the first time. And Wednesday's findings from the 2021 survey could show the proportion of seniors potentially edging close to accounting for 1/5 of the national population. The pace of aging nationally is expected to jump through to 2031 when the youngest baby boomers turn 65. Well, with us to discuss the situation facing older adults in Canada is Miss Laura Tamblyn Watts, the founder and CEO of CanAge, a national seniors advocacy organization. Ma'am, welcome to Forum Daily.
Thank you very much.
Now, according to 2016 census trends, Canadian seniors were outnumbering those aged 14 and younger. We're expecting a similar trend for the 2021 survey on Wednesday. So how would a greater proportion of older adults in Canada's population impact the country overall?
Well, we've been expecting this demographic trend for a long time. But as you point out, there are things to do about it, and we have done very few of them. So it is one of the great mega trends that the United Nations calls. Climate change is one of them, and the aging population is another. It doesn't mean it's the end of the world, but it does mean we need to think about how we're going to pay for aging, how we're going to make our own money stretch farther, how government money is going to support us, and make sure that we're shifting some of the priorities. Just give you an example, when the Trudeau government first came in, they had 5 ministries, including one that the Prime Minister held for children and youth, and not a single one for seniors. So now we have 1 for seniors, but still about 5 for children and youth. Not to say children and youth aren't important, but we need to be serving our population as it is.
Definitely. So how do governments need to prepare for a greater proportion of older adults in Canada?
The first thing we need is a national senior strategy. We've been talking about this for a long time, and yet we still don't have one. We would like to make sure that we put a senior's lens on all decisions. So when we're thinking about designing transportation, we're thinking about designing healthcare, we're thinking about designing housing, that we're thinking about how people are going to live, work, and move in this country. Give you one quick example. The National Housing Strategy brought out in 2017 has almost nothing for seniors in it. And what it doesn't have anything with seniors in care. We all know how much we need to make sure that we're designing housing and communities to help us age in place.
And we do know that the federal budget was announced recently. Did that budget address any of these needs?
It did and it didn't, I would say. It created an expert panel on one issue where, frankly, we've had more than 30 reports in as many years telling us all the same thing. We know that people want to receive more care at home. We know that we want to have more building standards accessible. We want to make sure that transportation, as it's designed, allows older people to get on and off of the transportation. What it did do was commit previously for some money for long-term care and aging in place, but this budget had nothing more about that. And what I can say, as you know, it was a big housing budget federally. There wasn't much for seniors in there, except a little bit of money to help you modify your home.
And in addition to all of this, we've really seen during the pandemic, it really opened our eyes, the need for improving the long-term care system. So how has the pandemic really highlighted the need for the older population in Canada?
So we have had so many of these challenges for many decades prior, but as you say, the key issues have been highlighted by the pandemic. They weren't created by it, but they were highlighted. One of the big issues that we need for an aging population is a staffing shift. We need far more people who are willing, interested, and able to work in seniors' care. Right now, we graduate pediatricians, but not geriatricians. We graduate people who are going to work in children's care, but not in seniors' care. And in terms of recreational therapies, all of the pieces that have to do with living and engaging, we do a really bad job on that with older people. And as we're moving to 1 in 5 seniors over the age of 65, that's got to be our priority. So this government has got to really get its head around immigration, training, and making sure that people get good wages and good jobs.
All right, Ms. Watts, thank you again for joining us today on Forum Daily.
Thank you.